MOIN! Echt platt. Wöje und sech wiesen tun we wohnen. Kijk mal naar boven. In Low Saxon, also known as Low German, there are lots of fascinating words that don't show up in today's related languages. Or if they do, they now mean something different. In some cases, Low Saxon might actually be the only modern West Germanic language where such words have survived, and in their original sense, no less. Since Low Saxon is a lesser known and less studied language, it often doesn't get considered in comparative linguistic research. And with the number of native speakers shrinking and second language speakers leaning more and more toward Germanized forms, authentic vocabulary and expressions are disappearing fast. So I'd like to share a few of these words and expressions, mostly because I love them, and I hope you'll enjoy them too. Maybe you'll even feel inspired to use some of them. And if you don't actually speak Low Saxon, you might still find connections to your own favorite languages and dialects. Because researching non-standard dialects is tricky business, I can only offer general thoughts and suggestions here. Feel free to pitch in with more details or local insights in the comments below. Today, let's talk about what's up there and at the edge of it all. The Low Saxon word for sky is heaven, though some dialects have heben. The ancestral Old Saxon word is hevan. Clearly, this continental Saxon word is related to English heaven and Old English heaven. I haven't found a proper equivalent in other Germanic languages, which makes me think this might be a genuine Saxonism. Keep in mind that Old Saxon is also one of the ancestors of English. Some people try to connect this Saxonism to the hem group of words for sky or heaven, like German Himmel, Dutch Himmel, or Icelandic Himinn. Personally, I'm not convinced. The origin of all these words is murky anyway. Some researchers think they might go back to a root meaning something like cover. What's interesting is that English doesn't have a surviving word for the hem group, but Low Saxon does, with Himmel in some dialects and Himmel in addition to Heban in Old Saxon. Now, here's the thought. Old Saxon really only began to be written after Christianization, and that process brought strong Frankish influence with it. In Old Frankish, the word for sky was Himmel. So I wonder, was Himmel borrowed into Saxon from Frankish, perhaps for the non-physical heaven, whereas Heban continued to mean the visible, physical sky? In English, the opposite seems to have happened. In most contexts, heaven became the spiritual or religious concept, while the physical sky got a new name, sky. That came from Old Norse sky, meaning cloud or cloud cover, and that's still the meaning of the word in modern North Germanic. Actually, sky has relatives in other Germanic languages too. In Old Saxon we have skion, and in Old English skeo or skio, all of which meant cloud or cloud cover. But those words didn't survive. Still, if you live near the North Sea, calling the sky a cloud cover makes perfect sense. There are other old words for cloud in Old Saxon and Old English, and these ones do have cognates in other West Germanic languages. In Old Saxon, Wolken. In Old English, Wolken. These are related to Old Frisian, Wolken or Wilken, and Old High German, Wolken. Modern descendants, Low Saxon Volk or Volk, West Frisian Volk, North Frisian Volk, German Volke. In English, there's a lovely poetic relic, Welkin, which means sky vault. This whole word family probably goes back to the idea of clump. So maybe a single cloud, not a whole sky of them. And what about when it's overcast? Well, there's a lovely Low Saxon word for that. Heaven shaddig. Literally, heaven shady. One of my favorite Low Saxon words, and one that's sadly fading, is svag. It means a dark, ominous bank of clouds, usually looming near the horizon. The Dutch relative is zwerk, which can mean cloudy sky or simply sky. Again, North Sea climate, cloudy skies are not an occasional event, they are a lifestyle. Other West Germanic languages had related words too, but they didn't survive. Old High German, zwerk, for darkness. Old English, zwerk, gloom, and zwerken, to darken. But none of these lived on in the modern language, except, as far as I can tell, in Low Saxon. And that brings us to the edge, literally, the horizon. The Low Saxon word is kim, sometimes kimming. Dutch has the equivalent gim. There's even an archaic English word chim, and its variant chime, which refer to the projecting rim at the end of a barrel. So, the underlying meaning here is something like rim, edge, joint, notch, or gap. That's also what the Old English word kimp means. And guess what? German borrowed the medieval Saxon word kimme twice. Once as kim, horizon, and again as kimme, the technical term for a rear sight notch on a gun. Oh, and in slang, kimme also came to mean what Americans call butt crack. Oops, not the most elegant image to end on, but hey, everything has a horizon, right? What do you think? Any additions, corrections, similar words in your own languages or dialects? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your take.
Tschüss!